In today's quick tips video, I'm going to be going over the 5 knots every scuba diver should learn. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James. As always, so great to see all of your smiling faces. Yeah, as I said in my pre-introduction, this is quick tips number 39, and I'm going to be giving you the 5 knots that every scuba diver should learn. But more than that, I'm also going to be telling you what each knot should be used for, what the practical application is. So you guys make your next dive on our subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and I'll head over to the workbench and break it down for you. So let's start then with the granddaddy of all knots, the bowline. So we're just going to make a loop in the line here, simple over loop like that, and then it's the old rabbit, comes up from his hole, goes around the tree, goes back down the hole again, and you pull it tight, and there you have your basic bowline knot. And obviously if you go the other way around the tree, the tab will be on the outside, so if you want it freer, basically if you were going to use the longer end of that line, you can do that quite simply. But the beautiful thing about the bowline is the more stress you put on it, the stronger it becomes. It is unbreakable. You can use that for towing. It's never going to slip. Great way to put a loop in the line. Great way if you need to rig something and put a bolt snap on there, or a double ender, or clip something off. 1,000 uses. If you only know one knot, it should be this one. The reef knot. The reef knot is a great flat square knot that is ideally used for joining two pieces together that are of an equal thickness. And probably one of the first knots I ever learned, I think back in Sea Cadets, they would teach you the rhyme of right over left and under. Now this is your left, over right and under. Then when you pull the two ends together, you have two loops that are interbound, and you can pull on that and it becomes nice and tight. But at the same time is still easy to slack off and undo should you need to. The sheet bend. Okay, so what if you want to join together two lengths of line that have different thicknesses? Well, you could do a reef knot, but the trouble with the reef knot when the lines are not the same thickness, there's your basic reef knot again, is that you'll find when tension is applied, that can actually slide through, and that's suboptimal, obviously. So instead what you're going to do is tie a sheet bend. It starts the same way as the reef knot. You'll make a loop in the thicker piece of rope and use the thinner piece as the working end. And you're going to come up from one side around the back, and this time instead of going down the middle, you're actually going to go back under itself and on top like that. And then when you pull it tight, that's your sheet bend there. As you pull that tighter, that will bite down on itself, and that will take a considerable amount of strain. The fisherman's knot. The fisherman's knot is a very useful knot I use a lot when I work with bungee. So if I need to make a loop to go around a harness, or particularly to make a necklace for my alternate second stage, then you're going to want to tie a fisherman's knot, and the reason being that you can adjust the size of the loop by sliding the knots backwards and forwards. And basically it's just two half hitches using alternate ends of the working end. So if I come over here and I tie a half hitch around this end here, just like that, then you can see I've got a very basic sliding knot, right? Just a half hitch, simple, and so on. Well then if I take this end and tie a knot over here, give myself a bit more slack to work with, another half hitch, now I have two sliding knots. So to make the fisherman's knot, you would just pull on the longer ends and they will slide in together like that, and that there is your fisherman's knot. You can cut the ends if you want to, burn the ends and so on. But basically then, what you can also do if you work those knots apart and slide them back again, is now you've got a loop in the middle here that can go around a mouthpiece for a second stage regulator, and then you can pull it tight on that, trim the ends again, burn the ends so they don't fray, and there's your basic necklace for your double hose configuration. The last knot I think every scuba diver should know is the overhand loop. It's a very, very basic, simple knot. It's very fast to tie. It's very easy to tie even underwater, and it's a great way to just put a quick loop in the line. If you're doing underwater rigging, for example, using a lift bag to bring an object up, and you need to create a loop in order to clip a lift bag onto. So very simply, you just start with a bend in the line, and then you're just making an overhand knot, but with both ends, or both sides, so I should say. And you can adjust the length of it by pulling these, and pull it nice and close and tight like that, and that's the overhand loop right there. It's relatively strong. It's not as strong as a bowline. It will slip under extreme pressure, but in a pinch and for the sakes of speed, the overhand loop is a very useful knot to know. And you may have noticed, ladies and gentlemen, throughout this video I've been using lines, not ropes. Cowboys use ropes, sailors use lines. Thank you as always so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got value out of it, give it the old thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. My name's James, and until next week, this was your video from Divers Ready. Dive safe, dive often.